Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel FPL Elma. So we're going to be going through my game week 14 team selection, my game week 13 team review, some transfer thoughts ahead of game week 14, and also some captaincy picks. And before we get into that, I'd like to thank you all guys for the continued support on the channel. I think you're around 7 subscribers away from 900. So if you're new around here or you're a regular, if you're not yet subscribed, make sure you hit that sub button. Make sure you leave a like. Make sure you hit that bell to miss any content going up on the channel. Also leave a comment. All of your transfers are going to be ahead of Game Week 14. Not wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So I'm going to go through my Game Week 13 team review. We managed to score 38 points and came over points in 31 and not a very massive red arrow to 1.06 million in the world, which is not bad compared to what happened during the weekend. So during the weekend, as you can see, I did not use my triple captain on Haaland, and I did not bring Thiago into the team for Joe Pedro because I missed the deadline. Unfortunately, it was a family event, and just time just passed by, and I just couldn't get ready for the deadline. But yeah, so all in all, it was a blessing in disguise in some ways because Haaland blanked, and Chalobah managed to score a goal where I was going to start Timber instead. And Hala and Thiago unfortunately went on a mad run, scored 2 goals, and Joe Pedro was hooked in for the 60th minute. So it is what it is. But in the end, I think it was a 50-50 decision that went in my way, and another part that went not in my way. So in goal, we had Dubravka with 1 point since Pope was not available. Chalobah, as I mentioned, scored a goal for 9 points. Van Dijk finally keeping a clean sheet against West Ham. Richards conceding to United 2 goals, so 1 point for him. Semenyo also blanking once again for 1 point. Saka getting an assist for five. Sar and Minte blanking for 1 and 3 points respectively. Haaland also blanked 4 points for him. He was the captain. Martial scored from a penalty spot. And then he got 6 points. And he had Joe Pedro with 1 point. On the bench, Pope, who I've mentioned, missed the game. Timber, 2 points. And then Longstaff and Rodon on 0 points. So all in all, a very tough game week, but not a very bad game week. Slow and a small red arrow. But I hope for game week 14 can be able to improve on that. Now let's look at what game week 14 has in store for us. So now we can look at some transfer thoughts ahead of game week 14. I'm going to be making 2 transfers, and the first transfer is going to be moving from Sar to Gakpo. So unfortunately, during the United game, Sar picked up an ankle injury. He was subbed off early, hence why he had the 1 point, and that's why I'm thinking of transferring him out. Even though the injury, I'm thinking of moving him on. So this injury is like a blessing in disguise in terms of FPL, so I can move him out at the moment. Very bad run of fixtures for him. I think he went like 7 games without attacking return. So I think it was only right to move him on. And this injury has made that an easier decision for me. And what I'm going to bring in is going to be Cody Gakpo. I think the best player from Liverpool at this moment in time. Very good fixtures coming up for Liverpool as well in Sunderland, Leeds, Brighton, Spurs, and Wolves in their next 5. So high chance of attacking returns, and I hope he's going to be able to perform in those fixtures. But of course, there's a high risk of rotation with him since Liverpool have very many attackers. Will you see Chiesa? Will you see Ekitike out there on the left? So a lot of attacking returns and a lot of rotation involved with Jack. But I think he's going to start most of the games. I'm not sure if he's going to start in game week 14, but I do hope he's going to start. So this is the first transfer I'm thinking of doing. Now let's look at the second transfer as well. Then the next transfer I'm thinking of doing is going to be Pope to Verbruggen from Brighton. So Pope is another one who picks up an injury, and it's another blessing in disguise because I was thinking of moving him on since ever since I used the wild card, he hasn't kept any single clean sheet. Newcastle have been very poor defensively. That's why I'm thinking of moving him on, and this is going to be out for a while. So I think the best option is going to go for a cheaper goalkeeper, and that is going to be Bruggen at 4.4 million just to release some funds from that goalkeeping department, which I think is going to be ideal for the rest of the team. I think Bruggen is a very decent option. The last 4 games, he's kept 3 clean sheets and also saved a penalty against Thiago as well when they played Brentford. So he's had a very good run over the last 4 fixtures. I think it's going to be a very decent option. Very good fixtures coming up, although not very good, but decent fixtures coming up in Aston Villa, West Ham and Sunderland in their next 5. Of course, against Liverpool and Sunderland, I mean, sorry, Liverpool and Arsenal is going to be tough fixtures to keep clean sheet, but hey, you never know, you might save another penalty. So that's the next transfer I'm thinking of doing. So those two transfers in mind, let's look at how I'm going to be lining up for game 14. So first, we're going to start off with the goalkeeping and defending department for game 13. We're going to be having Verbruggen in goal playing against Spurs. Although Spurs sometimes have looked very good going forward, they still lack that killer instinct with the likes of Richarlison and Colomwani up there and the likes of Xavi Simons. So I think there's a high chance of a clean sheet. Not a clean sheet, I think it's going to be a high chance of some save points. We saw Leno against Fulham pick up a lot of save points as well when they played Spurs. So there's that a high chance of that. Then we're going to be having Chaloba against Leeds. Of course, Leeds scored 2 goals against Man City, but Chelsea have been looking very strong defensively. They were considered only 1 goal to Arsenal, and even prior to that, they'd gone on a mad run of I think 4 or 3 clean sheets. So I think the high chance of a clean sheet for this game. And Chaloba did score against Arsenal, so maybe another goal will be very much appreciated. And then we have Richards playing against Burnley. Although Burnley have been scoring a few goals here and there, and to be fair, against Manchester United, Crystal Palace looked very poor defensively. I still think there's a high chance of us finishing in this fixture. My only concern is Richards. Is he going to play both fixtures? Is he going to play in this fixture? I think they're playing maybe on Tuesday or on Wednesday. Is he going to be available? Because when you look at his Conference League record, he hasn't been playing a lot since he's always rotated for someone else. So that's my only concern. But the good thing is he never subbed on, so maybe the bench is going to have to play a very big role in this tight fixture schedule. And then the last player on the team is going to be Virgil van Dijk against Sunderland. Of course, Sunderland very very good when you go in terms of going forward. They managed to score 3 goals in game 14, but with the Liverpool being at home against Sunderland, maybe it's going to be high chance of a clean sheet or maybe an attacking return. But that's saying Nottingham Forest did score 3 goals against Liverpool at home. So going to be interesting to see how this one goes. But I do expect a clean sheet, not a clean sheet. I do expect attacking return from Van Dijk. So that's how the defense is going to be lining up. There's a huge potential of assist there. So now let's look at the midfield. Then now we can look at the midfield. We're going to be having Saka in there against Brentford. Brentford have been very, very good defensively. They've also been very good going forward. So this is going to be an interesting game. But with Saka and Co being at the Emirates, I think it's going to be a comfortable game for them. I do expect a very good game, of course, but I do expect that Saka is going to be able to get an attacking return in this fixture. Then we have Semenyo against Everton. Everton, of course, conceded 4 goals the other day to Newcastle. So it just shows how poor they are defensively. So I do hope that Semenyo can go back to scoring when it's been a long time since he's got an attacking return. And people are starting to turn their backs on him. So I do expect that, I mean, not expect, but I hope that against Everton is going to be able to perform and get an attacking return. It's a very good fixture to do that. Then we have Gakpo, who I'm going to be bringing in place of Sar playing against Sunderland. Not a very easy fixture. Sunderland have been very good defensively in their own way. So I do expect it's going to be a tough fixture for Liverpool. But I do hope that Gakpo is going to get an attacking return coming up from a goal and assist against West Ham. I do hope he's going to be able to continue that hot streak and do that against Sunderland. Then the last player in midfield is going to be Minte, who of course got his who ended his streak of attacking returns in game week 13 against Nottingham Forest. So I do hope that against Villa, I can be able to go back to getting attacking returns and be able to get maybe an assist or something like that against Aston Villa. It's going to be a tough match as well. So that's the midfield. Looks full of goals and assists. And hope it's going to be able to perform. Now let's look at the forward line. So this is how the forward line is going to be looking like. Going to be having Haaland in there against Fulham. Fulham showed in game 13 they're a very strong team defensively with keeping out Spurs. But I do expect that Haaland will go back to scoring form against Fulham. And hope he's going to get out of goals as well because he did have a terrible game in game week 13. So I was going to have to perform better in this game week 14 fixture against Fulham. Then the other player is going to be Mateta against Burnley. The game week 13 just shows how Burnley are very poor defensively. They conceded like 3 goals in the last 10 minutes of a game. And then, so I do hope that Mateta is going to start. Of course, the Crystal Palace fans are very annoyed with him with missing some very good chances against United. but I do hope against Burnley he's going to be able to perform. Then you have Joe Pedro against Leeds. Going to be interesting to see whether he's going to start or not because he was subbed off very, very early on in game week 13 against Arsenal. But I just think he wanted some control in the attacking place with Liam Delap or something different compared to Joe Pedro. But I do hope that Joe Pedro is going to start against the Leeds. Of course, now he's among the most transferred out player as well, and again, and his price has dropped 7.4 million. So I hope he's going to punish some people. Then on the bench, you're going to be having Dubravka, you're going to be having Timber. So that's another concern about Timber playing against Brentford, who they have Ego Thiago, he's on form, and maybe Saliba and Gabriel are going to be out for that fixture. That's why I've gone for Timber on the bench, but that might change before the deadline. Then you have Rodon, and Longstaff has also picked up another long-term injury, so maybe time moving on and maybe get a 4.5 midfielder and save some funds. But that's sorry for another day. I'm not bothered about it at the moment. So that's the team. That's the full team for game 14. Looks pretty solid. Looks pretty full of goals and assists. And I just hope we're going to have a different scoring points compared to my team in game week 13. So that team, let me know in the comments how you rate it out of 10. Now let's look at some captaincy picks ahead of game week 14. So here are some captaincy picks ahead of game week 14. I've gone for three players. The first one is going to be Saka playing against Brentford. If Burnley can score against you, imagine what Arsenal can do. And I'm just joking. I just think that Saka is going to have an amazing game against Brentford. Going attacking return against Chelsea, so he's going to want to go capitalize on that. And I think he's going to have a good performance against Brentford. Then you have Salah, the forgotten player. He was rested in game week 13, or you can say he was dropped in game week 13. So, of course, he's going to want to prove something in game week 14, and I think he's going to have a good performance against Sunderland. And the last player there is going to be Haaland, of course, playing against Fulham, who proved they're very strong defensively, but I think Man City will have too much for them in going forward in that attacking role. I think Haaland is going to have a very, very good game as well. Those are my three captaincy picks. You also put a ranking and go Haaland, Saka, and then Salah in terms of rankings. So I think Haaland is the main one, but the other two I think are still going to perform. Let me know down in the comments who you're going to be captaining as well and how you're rating my team out of 10. And this is another long video. So if you wanted to reach this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also check down my social links are down in the description. And I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.